It is running. It's not running on propane.
In today's episode, so I'm going to call this episode 4 in the generator series, but episode 5 has already come out. The reason being is that the footage we're going to see in today's video was lost. So episode 5 showed us replacing the starter switch on this, and at the end of today's video you'll see me starting the generator using the pull cord. That's because the starter switch didn't work. So we're going to call today's episode 4, how we install the Amazon propane conversion kit. Thanks for stopping by the Barefoot Farm channel. We know there's tons of choices out there on YouTube and how you choose to invest your time. We really appreciate your support on this channel. If you like the videos we put up here, we would really appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That little click on the subscribe button means a ton to us, and we really thank you for it. Stay with us here on the Barefoot Farm channel. In today's episode, we're going to be installing a propane conversion kit on the derelict Predator generator that I started this series on bringing this generator back to life. I'll put links to all the parts that I've used in the video description. So the reason this generator had a problem to start out with is because it sat with fuel in it and it got hot and the fuel went bad, and then that rusted the tank out and it was a big mess. And even though the fuel supposedly had stabilizer in it, it didn't stabilize, and it turned into a big mess. So as I was figuring out how to fix this thing, I came across the notion of doing a dual fuel conversion on this. The perfect vision for this would be, if you're going to keep it for emergency, or not keep gasoline in it, and keep a propane tank handy, since propane doesn't go bad, but still have that backup capacity to run the generator off of gasoline should you have gasoline. So looking in on Amazon, looked up the 8750, realized this has a 420cc displacement engine on it. When I looked on Amazon for the converter kits, they had them in 3 classes. I don't remember exactly. This was something like 400 to 436 cc or something for this kit, somewhere around that range. So I picked that one that's close enough. Yesterday, after I had put this together and test started it, I placed the petcock in the closed position, let the carburetor run dry of fuel. So we ought to be able to go ahead and pull this existing carburetor off of here and swap this out. Instructions are pretty anemic on this. So the instructions read, that's the in total instruction sheet. I hope there's no calibration needed on this. What I did discover when I took this out of the box was that it came here with a just a barb fitting on it for the propane intake. That's not going to work. I want to use this off of a regular propane tank. I did go find this old grill hose in my rummage bin, and here we go. Here's an old grill hose. I knew I would never need you, and yet there you are. Bin. And I'm hoping that if I unscrew this barb, that it'll be the same, I guess that's a 1/4 inch NPT thread. I'm hoping that'll be the same thread, and this will work, and then can just hook that up to a 5-gallon propane tank, a 5-pound propane tank. So anyway, let's see what happens. So when I pulled the air cover off, I found there were 6 nuts on here. They are 8mm. So I used 8mm ratchet, got those nuts off, and then this filter housing cover piece came off, and now the carburetor is exposed. So I think it's going to be easy going from here. Okay, so the gas tank vent hose came right off here, easy peasy with my my multi-tool pliers. We have an oil breather hose that went from the oil breather, crankcase oil breather, into the top of this. Now it looks like this is a 10mm socket, and we have that deep socket, so we're going to get on this. So we did have one screw hiding back here. It was also a 10 millimeter nut, and now well, the housing is free. We're going to put this nut right on here so we don't lose that. Okay, so there's the carburetor, fuel intake, electrical harness. It looked like they gave us a new harness wire there. Here's the choke. There's the gas line vent and the throttle. Doesn't look like there's going to be much to it. Let's see what happens. So it appears that the nuts that held the housing are the same nuts that hold this carburetor body on. So it's going to get this linkage undone here. Disconnect the fuel line and the electric, and I think we're good to go. We just need to check out this fuel line before we get it on there. Probably be the smart thing to do is check out the threads on that, see what we're up against. So of course, went for a 1/2 inch or 9/16 first, thinking this might be SAE thread, but no, it's a 13 millimeter box end. So we're going to get this barb fitting out of here. Okay, so luck ran out so far on this. This is a 1/4 inch, looks like 1/4 inch MPT, unless it's some funky metric thread. And then this is, I believe that's 1/8 inch. So we need a some type of adapter to do that. So at least we know we're up against now, we think. I guess we need to figure out if that's a 1/4 inch or if that is some sort of metric funky stuff. So we may have gotten lucky again. I ran in this spare parts bin of air stuff and found this Rube Goldberg device that I put together for something, which I don't remember which, but it looks like this is converting from 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Looks like we're going to need a 1/4 inch male nipple to go in there. And I don't know if we're going to get that or not, but let's see what happens. Just to double check, make sure that's not metric, it appears that the 1/4 inch NPT tap, there you go, you can see that there. The 1/4 inch NPT tap is going right in here, so we're just going to clean these threads up. I think it's going to work. Okay, so it looks like I've got everything I need. I got the hole cleared out with the 1/4 inch, got the hole cleared out with the 1/8 inch NPT tap. I found a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch nipple in a junk bin, clean that up on the 1/4 inch die. I found a 1/4 inch by 1/8 inch female adapter, and here we have an 1/8 inch flare fitting that's going to go in here so to connect our hose to. And I just checked the hose on the propane tank and it's working. So now we're just going to disconnect this, Teflon tape it up. I think you're supposed to use Teflon tape on gas. We'll Teflon tape this up and put it together. Well, I never would have believed that that would have worked, that I had the right pieces and parts to make that come together. So it looks like if I can get this thing on and figure it out, we'll be able to run this today off propane. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we've got the air filter housing back on with the two 10 millimeter nuts here. We got the 10 millimeter nut on the back here through this captured stud. It felt like maybe the carburetor was a slightly different dimension because that didn't want to line up in the back there. Sorry, it's hard to see. I didn't want to line up in the back, but it was just a sheet metal bracket, so it just bent a little bit. Maybe I bent it taking it apart or whatever, but it's back together now. So I got the tank vent line reconnected to the recirculator housing here. I didn't put the the oil breather hose back on, so I need to get that done. And I got the fuel line connected here behind the housing. Had no idea how tight to torque these studs down, so just used my own guess just to keep it just shy of wrenching them off. Okay, so we've got it all together. Got the oil breather hose back on there.
Got everything, all the linkages put together, got the choke on here, got the auto throttle linkage there. Looks like the only two adjustments we have on here, and I have no idea how they're supposed to be adjusted, is that screw there and this screw here. I'm shy to do anything with either one of them. We're going to see what happens here. When I try to fire this thing up. Now, we knew yesterday it ran off of regular gas with the old carburetor. Maybe I should give that a try first to make sure that it runs. We get a baseline on it before I go with the propane. So let's see what happens with that. I'm going to put choke on. After putting the new carburetor on and getting it started on gasoline, I went ahead and turned the petcock back to the off position so that the carburetor could run dry. That way, when we started it off of propane, we'd know that it was only propane that was running the machine. So we have the propane hooked back up here. We have the tank on. We're going to turn the gas. We don't have the tank on. We don't have this tightened up yet. Hand tight. Turn that on. Okay, now I don't know. I'm assuming since it ran with gas, and I can smell gas here from pushing this purge button, assuming that it ran with regular gas with the valve in this position, that if we turn it, it's going to block off the regular carburetor and open up the propane. I was mistaken about the selector switch here. It will run on gasoline with the selector switch in either position. The selector switch is to choose between your gas sources. So the top says PNG, which I guess is pressurized natural gas. NG must be natural gas. And this is LPG, so this is propane down here. So we'll want to have it in this position to run in propane, but it doesn't matter which position it's in to run in gasoline. Okay, well, we're in unknown territory. Don't know what's going on here. Okay, well, it is now running on propane. Apparently, so I put in the LP gas position and wasn't sure if it was going to start, so I gave it a shot of starting fluid and I pulled the cord twice. It is running. It's now running on propane. And let's go ahead and shut the propane off. And off it goes immediately. Interesting.